I've always been fascinated by the dark web, not for anything illegal, just the mystery of it all. The hidden forums, the strange communities, the rumors of things that shouldn't exist. Most of it is just urban legends, clickbait horror stories meant to scare people away. But some things feel real. It started with a late-night dive into a private forum I hadn't seen before. The thread was simple. Buy a secret. Change your life. It had no comments, no upvotes, just a single post by a user with a random string of numbers as a name. The message was vague. I sell knowledge. No refunds. Choose wisely. Below that was a list of secrets, each with a price in Bitcoin. Some were ridiculous, the truth about Area 51, or how to summon a demon. Others felt unsettlingly specific. What your government is hiding under Denver Airport, or the real reason the Bermuda Triangle exists. One caught my eye. A secret meant to be forgotten, but once you know it, they'll know you too. I hesitated. The price was higher than the others, almost double. But my curiosity got the better of me. I had some spare Bitcoin sitting in a wallet, so I transferred the payment. A few minutes passed. Then a reply. It's done. Check your inbox. And be careful. Knowing is dangerous. My stomach tightened as I clicked the attachment. It was a single text file. I opened it. At first, it didn't make sense. It was a string of numbers and letters, followed by a set of coordinates. Then a single sentence. There are places in this world that don't belong to us. This is one of them. I copied the coordinates into Google Maps. They pointed to a remote area in the middle of a desert. No roads, no landmarks, just emptiness. A bad feeling settled in my chest. I should have left it alone. I should have closed my laptop and gone to bed. But I didn't. I dug deeper. I cross-referenced the coordinates with old military records, satellite images, anything I could find. There were no official records of anything existing there. But older maps, ones from decades ago, showed something. A facility. A base that had since been erased from history. I spent the next few days obsessing over it. I didn't sleep much. The more I searched, the less I found. Every time I got close, pages would suddenly be unavailable, sites would go down, information would disappear. Then the email started. At first, they were blank, just empty messages from anonymous senders. Then, they started containing strange strings of code, like someone was trying to communicate but couldn't do it directly. And then one night, I got a message that made my blood run cold. Stop searching. This is your only warning. I stared at the screen, heart pounding. This had to be a joke, right? Some elaborate prank from the seller? Then my phone vibrated. A new message. Unknown number. Look outside. My breath hitched. My apartment was on the 3rd floor. There was no way. But I couldn't stop myself. Slowly, I walked to the window and pulled back the curtain. A black car sat parked across the street. The engine was running, but the windows were tinted so dark I couldn't see inside. I backed away, heart pounding. My laptop screen flickered. A new message appeared in the same forum where I bought the secret. I told you. They know you now. I slammed my laptop shut. That night, I barely slept. Every sound made me jump. Every shadow looked like it was moving. I convinced myself it was paranoia, that I was letting my imagination get the best of me. Until I woke up to a notification on my phone. A single image. It was a photo of me, taken from outside my window. I packed a bag and left the city that morning. I didn't have a plan, just a destination far away from everything I knew. I paid in cash for a bus ticket to a city I'd never been to, somewhere I could disappear for a while. On the ride there, I kept checking over my shoulder, scanning every car that passed. My phone stayed off, my laptop shoved deep in my bag. But the paranoia didn't leave me. I arrived in a small town just before midnight. It was quiet, barely a soul on the streets. I found a cheap motel, paid with cash, and locked myself in the room. I shut the blinds, wedged a chair under the doorknob, and sat awake with my back against the wall. At some point, exhaustion won. I woke up to the sound of my phone buzzing. It was still off. I felt the blood drain from my face as I reached for it. Somehow, it had powered on by itself. A single notification was on the screen. A new message. Running won't help. My stomach clenched. I checked the sender. No number. No contact name. Just a message that shouldn't exist. Then the TV turned on by itself. The static filled the room, crackling like white noise. I reached for the remote, but before I could turn it off, the screen changed. a live feed of my motel room. I was in the frame, staring at the TV in real time. The camera was inside the room. I bolted to the door, ripped the chair away, and ran. I didn't stop running until I was halfway across town, gasping for air under the sickly yellow glow of a street lamp. I knew then, this wasn't some hacker messing with me. This was real. I had bought something I was never supposed to know. And now, I was being hunted. I needed help. I logged into a burner email from a public library and messaged the seller, the same one who had sold me the secret. Who are they? What did I buy? I expected silence. But an answer came almost immediately. They don't have a name. They erase what shouldn't exist. And now, you are one of those things. My hands trembled. I typed again. How do I stop this? There was a long pause. Then a final reply. You can't. You made a choice. Now they will make theirs. The email account was deleted before I could reply. I sat there, staring at the screen, knowing I had made a mistake that could never be undone. When I left the library, I felt it again. The sensation of being watched. I turned the corner and froze. A man in a black suit stood at the end of the street. He wasn't moving, wasn't reacting, just watching. I ducked into an alley, heart racing. I needed to think. I needed to disappear again. But deep down, I knew the truth. It was too late. They had already found me. I took the longest route back to the motel, constantly looking over my shoulder, trying to convince myself that I wasn't being followed. But the feeling never left me. The room was exactly as I had left it. The door was still locked, the chair still there. But something felt wrong. I checked the TV. It was off. The phone still in my pocket. I turned it on again, no messages. For a brief second, I let myself breathe. Maybe I had imagined the whole thing. Maybe it was just paranoia, my mind playing tricks on me after diving too deep into the dark web. Then I saw it. A slip of paper, peeking out from under the door. My body went cold. Slowly, I reached down and picked it up. The paper was blank at first, just a folded square of thick cardstock. But as I turned it over, something shifted, like ink bleeding to the surface. One word appeared. Run. I didn't hesitate. I grabbed my bag and bolted out the back exit. The motel parking lot was empty, but I could feel them, whoever they were watching. The town was silent, the streets barely lit by flickering lamps. I had no car, no real plan. I just ran, down alleyways, through empty roads. I didn't stop until I reached a gas station on the edge of town. The clerk barely looked at me as I grabbed a cheap burner phone and a new set of clothes. I paid in cash, shoved everything into my bag, and stepped into the bathroom to change. When I came out, my old clothes stuffed into the trash bin, my heart nearly stopped. The gas station TV was playing the news, and my face was on the screen. No name, no details, just grainy, security camera footage of me at the motel. The caption underneath read, "Person of interest. If you see him, do not engage. Call authorities immediately." My blood ran ice cold. I backed away, turning toward the door, and froze. A black car had just pulled into the lot. The driver's door opened. I turned and ran. The next few hours were a blur. I ran through the town, cutting through side streets, staying away from open areas. I needed to get out, needed to find a way to disappear completely. The bus station was too risky. The train station had cameras. Every possible escape route was closing in on me. I ended up in an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town, crouched in the shadows, trying to figure out my next move. That's when my burner phone buzzed. A new message. No number. Just 3 words. You can't hide. I dropped the phone like it was burning my skin. That's when I heard it. Footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. Coming closer. I pressed myself against the cold concrete wall, barely breathing. A shadow passed by the broken windows. Whoever they were, they had found me. I had one last chance. I gripped my bag tighter, ready to run. But before I could move, the lights flickered. Then, the warehouse door creaked open, and a voice whispered from the darkness. "It's over." The words sent a cold shiver down my spine. I pressed myself against the wall, trying to stay hidden in the shadows. My breath was shallow, barely there. My mind screamed at me to run, but my body refused to move. The footsteps grew closer, slow and deliberate, like whoever was out there wanted me to feel trapped. I reached into my bag, fumbling for anything I could use as a weapon. My fingers brushed against the burner phone, but I knew it was useless. Then the footsteps stopped. Silence. The kind of silence that makes your ears ring, that makes the world feel empty. I strained to listen, but there was nothing. Then suddenly, a voice. "You should have just taken the money." My blood ran cold. The words weren't spoken. They came from my phone. The burner phone. I stared at the screen, my hands shaking. A new message appeared. "It's too late now." My pulse thundered in my ears. I bolted. I didn't look back. I couldn't. I sprinted toward the back exit, shoving open the rusted metal door and spilling into the night. The streets were dark, empty, stretching in every direction. I didn't know where I was going, just that I had to get away. Then, headlights. A black car turned the corner, moving slow, hunting. I ducked into an alley, heart hammering, my lungs burning. Another message lit up my screen. Nowhere to run. I clenched my jaw, fighting back the panic, the sickening realization that they were always a step ahead. They knew where I was. They were toying with me. And then, I heard the car stop. A door opened. Footsteps. Coming closer. I turned, heart pounding, searching for a way out. The alley was a dead end. My only chance was to climb the fire escape, but before I could move, another message. Game over. I barely had time to react before a sharp pain exploded at the back of my head. The world tilted. Then darkness. When I woke up, I wasn't in the alley anymore. I was somewhere else. A cold, sterile room. Dim fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. The walls were white, too white, like a hospital or an interrogation room. I tried to move. My wrists were strapped to the chair. My legs too. Panic clawed at my chest. A door creaked open. A man in a suit stepped inside. Calm, composed, as if this was just another day at the office. He pulled up a chair across from me, resting a folder on the table between us. Then he spoke. "You were warned." I swallowed hard, my mouth dry. He slid the folder toward me. I hesitated, then slowly opened it. Inside were photographs. Of me. Not just from today. Not just from the past week. Photos from years ago. From places I barely remembered being. They had been watching me long, before I ever went looking for them. The man leaned forward, steepling his fingers. "You don't exist anymore." My throat tightened. "Your name, your past, your life, it's gone. We own you now." I shook my head. I just wanted to disappear." A small, knowing smile crossed his lips. "You did." I felt my stomach drop. He stood up, adjusting his suit. "Welcome to your new life." The door opened again. 2 men in black stepped inside. They unstrapped my wrists, but I was too numb to resist. As they led me down the hallway, past rows of identical white doors, the realization hit me like a freight train. I wasn't escaping. I wasn't running. I had traded one identity for another. And now, I was never getting out. Was this story real, or just another dark web mystery? Let me know in the comments. If you love creepy stories, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more terrifying tales. But remember, some secrets should never be bought.